Hey everyone, welcome to the very first episode of our podcast. I'm Tom and I couldn't be more excited to get this journey rolling. Jenna, how are you feeling about our debut?
Tom, honestly, it's a little surreal. I've been looking forward to sharing all these conversations with folks who are eager to level up their English. There's so much we can dive into, but I love that we're starting with what matters most, how to really learn English.
Same here. I remember us talking for hours about all the little tips and setbacks that come with language learning. Today feels like we get to bring everyone into those talks. So, let's get into it. What's the first thing that pops into your head when someone says, "How do I learn English well?"
The first thing? I always think about motivation. If someone's excited and has a real reason for learning, they're already ahead. Without that drive, even the best resources just gather dust.
That actually hits home for me. The times I've tried to learn another language, like the few months I spent with Spanish, I completely stalled when I didn't have a real goal. Why do you think motivation is such a game changer?
Because language isn't just about grammar and vocab lists. It's about connecting with people or reaching a goal that matters to you. I've seen people light up when they finally understand song lyrics or can chat with a friend's family.
It makes it real, right? Suddenly, you're not just dealing with textbooks, but with actual life. For anyone tuning in, maybe take a few seconds to ask yourself, what would actually make learning English worth it for you?
Exactly. And it's totally okay if it's something small, like watching your favorite show without subtitles. That spark is what's going to get you through the tough spots.
Funny you say that about tough spots. I used to set huge, vague goals like be fluent in 6 months. And then I wondered why I felt overwhelmed. What's your take on goals, Jenna?
You know, I've made that mistake too. The trick I learned is to break it down, swap be fluent for learn 20 new words this week or hold one short conversation. Those wins add up and keep you going.
Totally. It's so much kinder to yourself, too. Celebrating those smaller milestones can feel like a breath of fresh air when things get tough.
It really is. Plus, when you feel progress, even if it's tiny, you're way more likely to stick with it. That's true for anything, but especially language learning.
This brings me to something I wish I realized sooner. You don't have to be perfect to use English. I used to wait until I knew enough before speaking, which, spoiler alert, means you never actually start. Did you ever struggle with that?
Oh, for sure. Even growing up in the US, I felt that pressure with languages at school, but I learned so much more by just jumping in, making mistakes, and figuring things out as I went. Immersion can be messy, but it works.
There's something freeing about giving yourself permission to get things wrong, like treating every mistake as a lesson instead of a failure. I love how kids just go for it.
Kids are fearless. Adults tend to overthink, but honestly, the more you use English in real life, the faster you grow. Even if you mix up words or stumble, that's where the learning sticks.
That reminds me, one thing people ask a lot is, how much time do I need to spend every day? Not everyone can do an hour of study. What's your advice for someone with a packed schedule?
I always say, squeeze in whatever you can. 5 or 10 minutes listening to a podcast on your commute, reading a meme, jotting down a new phrase, those little moments really add up over weeks and months.
It takes the pressure off, too. I know for myself, when I set the bar way too high, I just end up skipping days. But when I let myself do a quick session, even just 1 page of reading, I feel way more consistent.
Absolutely. Consistency is what builds confidence. It's less about cramming and more about showing up again and again, however you can.
Last week, we got stuck on the idea that textbooks alone aren't enough. Why do you think people get trapped in the study-only loop instead of actually using English?
Probably because it feels safer, right? You can control a book, but a conversation has unknowns. But honestly, real-world interactions, chatting online, ordering food, commenting on videos, that's where your skills come alive.
I've seen people get way more confident after joining even a short group chat or playing online games in English. It's like suddenly all the words you learned have a place to land.
Exactly, and you start to pick up real expressions and slang that textbooks just don't cover. It's the difference between knowing the rules and actually playing the game.
What surprised me most is how quickly progress happens when you stop stressing about mistakes. Have you ever seen someone hold themselves back just because they're afraid to mess up?
Honestly, I've done it myself. But every time I let myself make mistakes like mixing up past tense or using the wrong word, I learned more than when I kept quiet. Mistakes are just signposts showing what you need next.
I love that idea. It turns mistakes into something positive, almost like a map for where to go next. Maybe listeners can try reframing a mistake as a learning clue instead of a setback.
That's a great mindset shift. It takes the pressure off and makes English more like an adventure. Each error is a story, not a stain.
Switching gears a bit, there are so many resources now. Apps, YouTube, podcasts, even video games. It can get overwhelming. How do you suggest someone picks what works for them?
I'd start by asking what you actually enjoy in your native language. If you love stories, try audiobooks. If you're more into interaction, maybe conversation apps or online classes. There's no single right way, just what keeps you curious.
That makes sense. I know if I'm bored by a method, I'll drop it. But when I find something fun, even if it's silly TikTok videos, I stick with it way longer.
Totally. Learning should feel like an upgrade to your life, not a chore. So if you try one thing and it's not clicking, switch it up. There are endless options out there.
Speaking of options, community makes a huge difference. I remember when I joined a language exchange group and suddenly I wasn't on my own anymore. How important do you think it is to have support?
It's huge. Having people who understand your struggles or even just someone to celebrate your wins can keep you motivated when things get tough. Plus, you can swap tips and hold each other accountable.
There's a special energy in learning together too. Even if it's just a friend or an online forum, that connection makes English so much more than just a subject.
It adds meaning and it's more fun. If you're shy about speaking, starting with texts or voice notes with a partner can be a gentle first step.
After all these tips, I think it's easy to forget that learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Have you ever felt frustrated by how long progress can take?
Oh, absolutely, and I still do with new things. But I try to remember that every bit of effort is building up, even when it feels slow. Looking back, those little steps turn into huge leaps.
That's such a good reminder. I like to tell myself, future me will thank past me for not giving up. It's about patience, but also about showing up and just doing the next thing.
Exactly. And sometimes you don't see the progress until one day, suddenly, you understand a movie or joke and realize how far you've come. That's the best feeling.
Could you unpack what celebrating wins looks like for an English learner? Sometimes people feel like they haven't earned it unless they're fluent.
Celebrating can be as simple as recognizing when you nailed a tricky phrase or had your first conversation without freezing up. Giving yourself a pat on the back, sharing your progress with a friend, those moments fuel the fire to keep going.
I love that. Even treating yourself to your favorite snack after reaching a milestone can turn learning into something special. It keeps the spark alive and makes the journey a lot more joyful.
Totally. The more you associate English with positive feelings, fun, pride, connection, the easier it is to keep coming back day after day.
Well, Jenna, I can't believe how much ground we've covered today. I hope everyone listening feels a little more inspired and a lot less intimidated by the learning process.
Me too, Tom. And to everyone tuning in, thanks for sharing your time with us. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. We'll be back with more tips, stories, and a whole lot of encouragement.
If you have questions, stories, or just want to say hi, reach out to us. We'd love to hear what's working or what's tripping you up.
Until next time, keep practicing, stay curious, and celebrate every step. See you soon!